watching KSL Sports Live.
Lynn Roberts and her staff are building something special with the Utah women's basketball program, now ranked 9th in the country. The Utes are on track to host an NCAA tournament regional.
Yeah, and they're still very much in the mix for a Pac-12 championship as well. They took a step closer at the Huntsman Center on Sunday.
Oh, this was fun. Huge game hosting 8th-ranked UCLA. Alyssa Peely, the transfer from USC, was a tough matchup for the Bruins. She went to work early and often. UCLA was threatening to pull away. But Deja Young would help keep the Utes attached with a big three in the second quarter. The Utes trailed by just 3 at the break. Let's go to the fourth quarter. The Utes were down by as much as 8. A great save here by Isabel Palmer, which would turn out to be huge. Deja Young hits another big 3. Then a huge and one would get Utah to within 5. They were down 3 in the final minute. The Utes need a big shot, and who do they go to? Yep, Alyssa Peely, and she delivers. That free ties the game at 69. The Utes get the ball back with 18 seconds left, and they go to Peely again, and she delivers with 1 second left. Ball game, that is your game winner. What a day for the Utes. Peely with a game-high 23 points, 9 rebounds. Utah moves to 18-2, 8-2 in conference play. Just 1 game back of first place Stanford.
I had just hit a 3, so, I knew she was going to kind of bite on the pump fake, and then I just saw a lane, and I took it. So finished as best as I could. I might have got fouled a little bit, but.
Just an incredible finish. I mean, that's what great players do, is they make plays with the game on the line.
You know, in 2020, Alyssa Peely was named the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, but that was when she played at USC. The following season, she was named All Pac-12 for a second straight year. But her third season didn't go so well. Something just didn't click over there. So it was time for a change. She entered the transfer portal, which brought her to Utah. And what a fit it has been for both sides. Peely is the leading scorer in the Pac-12 this season, averaging 20.2 points per game. And her 62.2% shooting from the field, that's also tops in the conference by a 4% margin. She still has 1 more year of eligibility, too. Coach Roberts believes she still hasn't peaked.
Am I surprised that she's acclimating this fast? Not really, because we knew she had this potential, but I think it is impressive how quickly she has done it and gotten herself to the position that she's in. But I don't think she's as good as she can get either, which is exciting. She's just a junior. We have 1 more year with her.
Each homestand this season, the Utes are doing a community service series, picking a cause in the community to help out. This weekend, they're highlighting Special Olympics Utah. And every 3-pointer they make, Coach Roberts donates $100 of her own money. She also invites others to donate, too. They made 15 threes during this homestand.
It's not just talk. And the players joke that they're going to bankrupt me. They're going to shoot it from all over, and I'd love that. That's great. Knock them down, ladies. I love living here. But I also think if there's any way I can use my platform to give back.
Coach Roberts is going to need a loan. NBA action. Cavs taking on the Clippers. Darius Garland finds Donovan Mitchell for the early 3. They had an 11-4 lead at that point. Jarrett Allen is going to get the dunk on Moses Brown. Oof. Right on his head. 50-22 at that point. Yes, 50-22. Donovan again is going to find the open lane and score an easy layup. Where is the resistance? The Clippers playing no D. Allen's going to get a 3-point attempt. He scores his first 3-pointer of the game. That's how good it was for the Cavs. They win big over the Clippers.
How about the Pelicans and the Bucks? Giannis Antetokounmpo looking like an MVP tonight. In the first minute of the game, look at the poster dunk that he just throws down. Bucks up 10 early. Giannis, a little hezzy move and the layup. Then how about a spin move and another dunk? 2 minutes left in the game. Giannis needs 3 points for a 50. A deep 3 got him there in style. The 50-piece for Giannis, and the Bucks beat the Pelicans.
Well, Utah Jazz took advantage of Luka Doncic sitting out with an injured ankle on Saturday night, taking down the Dallas Mavericks 108-100. Another big-time celebrity sighting at the soon-to-be Delta Center. Music star Travis Scott was in the building along with the game. The Jazz got a big game from Malik Beasley off the bench. 19 points, 5 of 11 from 3. And Lauri Markkanen continues to make his case for an all-star nod. Reserves will be announced on Thursday, by the way. 29 points, 11 of 20 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3. It's hard to believe he was called a bust by many in Chicago 2 years ago. Goes to show you just how much teams should not give up on young draft picks so early. All right, the legend back in the building last night. One of the all-time greats, Adrian Dantley. The Hall of Famer was in attendance at the Jazz-Mavs game. His name hangs from the rafters. 6-time All-Star, all with Utah, 2-time All-NBA, comeback player of the year in 1984. He averaged 30 or more points per game from 1981 to 1984. 6 times he scored 50 or more points in a game.
Feel pretty good. Took a while to get there, but it finally got there. But it's a good feeling when you know no one knows is not going to wear that number anymore.
The Stars will be here next month for the All-Star game, but there was some star power at the game last night, too. How about 2 of the best in college football? Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud and Alabama quarterback Bryce Young competed in a little shootout during a timeout. And I'm being told their presence here has now just boosted their draft stock.
Of course it would. Speaking of stock being boosted, my goodness, it's always a conflict when watching Damian Lillard play against the Utah Jazz. He's the greatest player in the history of Weber State basketball and one of the greatest talents this state has ever seen.
Yeah, but sometimes his best work has come at the expense of the Utah Jazz. We've seen it time and time again. It happened again on Wednesday when Dame had one of the best games of his career.
He scored 60 points, just 1 point shy of his career best of 61. He now has 4 60-point games in his remarkable NBA career. He wasn't just scoring 60 that was mind-blowing. It was how he did it. He was incredibly efficient. Look at his numbers. 21 of 29 from the field, 9 of 15 from 3, 9 of 10 from the foul line. He's just one of 3 players, Karl Malone and James Harden, the others, who have reached 60 points on fewer shot attempts. He posted the highest true shooting percentage ever at 89.8%. At one point, he scored 20 straight Blazers points in the 3rd quarter.
It was just different because it felt so simple. You know, I didn't feel like I just went out there and just went after it. You know, it was like taking what they gave me.
Dame for a 50-piece.
It's the most efficient 60-point game ever, for real.
That's probably why it felt simple for you.
Yeah, it was pretty simple. Maybe that's, see? Damn, that's crazy, because I ain't nothing.
Dame even impressed himself. Dame has had 2 other 50-point games in his career against the Jazz. The more recent one also happened in Portland back on April 8th, 2017. Lillard shot the ball 34 times in the game, making 18 shots, 9 of 14 from three-point range, and made 14 of 16 free throws for a 59-point outburst. That was his career high at the time.
February 2nd, 2020 was also in Portland. Dame went for 51. He made 9 three-pointers again, like he did Wednesday night, 12 assists, 17 of 29 from the field, 8 of 8 from the foul line. The Blazers beat the Jazz that night, 124-107. Now, in the process, Lillard went over 1,000 career points against the Jazz in that win Wednesday. He's 25th all-time on that list. So who has the most career points against the Jazz? You're looking at him. The Dream, Akeem Olajuwon, scored 1,786 points against the Jazz in 74 games. Kobe Bryant, Alex English, Dirk Nowitzki, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar round out the top 5 on that list.
That's a pretty impressive list. Damian Lillard now averages 27.5 points per game against the Jazz for his career, the 4th most all-time for players who have played at least 20 games against the Jazz. Of course, Michael Jordan is at the top of that list, averaging 32.7 points per game in 26 games against Utah. LeBron comes in 2nd. Allen Iverson is 3rd. And George Gervin and his finger roll is behind Lillard for 5th. All right, up next, heartbreak for BYU at the buzzer again.
Yeah, and more out of our conversation with head coach Lynn Roberts at the U. And the NBA trade deadline, it's just 11 days away. Will the Jazz be buyers, sellers? Will they stay put? Would they even consider trading Lauri Markkanen? Well, hear what SI's Howard Beck told KSL Sports in an exclusive conversation next.
More highlights from the association, Pacers and Grizzlies. Check out one of the best
down the Heat.
Up and go. Passes to the corner. THT to the rack.
THT explodes again. The Utah Jazz started the week off with a win. Talen Horton-Tucker, 7.6 assists off the bench. 5 Jazz players scored in double figures in that game, including Lauri Markkanen, who had 25 points and 11 rebounds. He currently has scored 20 or more points in that's 19 consecutive games. LeBron and Jason Tatum are the only players that have more. All right, the NBA trade deadline is fast approaching. Just 12 days away on February 9th. Will the Jazz be buyers or sellers at the deadline? Or will they just stay the same? Well, it depends on a lot of different factors, of course. The team is in the playoff mix thanks to a great start to the season. But, of course, they're just 15-23 since that 10-3 start. Howard Beck, NBA writer for SI, shared what he knows with Hans and Scotty on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone this week.
A bunch of teams could use Mike Conley, but his salary is at a level where it's really hard to make a trade that matches salary matching rules, right? So it's things like that come into play. Like if Mike Conley was making half of what he was making, he might have already been traded. The usual names you've heard, like Olynyk and Beasley, and I know that they really love Jordan Clarkson out there, but if somebody comes along with the right price for Jordan Clarkson, I could see that happening too. Like I really don't think anybody on a team at this stage can be considered untouchable. And by this stage, I mean they're in some sort of rebuild, tear down, whatever, transition. Even Markkanen. Like, I'm not predicting Markkanen's going to go. I'm not, saying that this is, going anywhere. I'm just, to me, Markkanen's value has never been higher. And so if what you're really doing is trying to build toward a horizon that's 3 years out, because of his ability, I wouldn't consider him untouchable either, because he's never been more valuable. And you have to decide whether or not you consider him to be a true foundational player after, several years in Chicago and then Cleveland of being, good to pretty good. He's never been this guy before. So you have to determine how real you think this is, how sustainable you think it is, and whether he's a guy that you can truly build around.
The Jazz aren't trading Lauri.
Is he valuable enough to be wearing one of these? NBA All-Star uniforms unveiled Friday. What do you think? They feature that gradient look, one changing from red to yellow, the other from blue down to black. These colors were picked specifically to represent the colors of the landscape from southern to northern Utah.
I like it. All right. BYU moves to the Big 12 next season, and the men's basketball team can't wait for more reasons than just one.
Yeah. They won't miss playing St. Mary's.
That's one.
Sure, yeah. Every game against the Gales is a grudge match, and too many have ended in heartbreak for the Cougars. Happened again on Saturday.
Yep.
Head coach Mark Pope in that game actually relied heavily for a career-high 23 points. He made a pair of three-pointers. He dished out a pair of assists, had 4 rebounds as well.
Well, of course, we've seen this movie before. Dallin Hall fouled.
Last night's finish had an eerily similar feel to another BYU St. Mary's game. You might remember 2013 at the Marriott Center. Tyler Haas putting the Cougars up 2 with 3 seconds left. Place is going nuts, but not for long. Matthew Dellavedova sinks a game-winning half-court shot as time expired. From fan euphoria to instant silence at the Marriott Center.
It's a Dellavedova curse. That's what we're going to call it.
That's rough. All right, the Utah women's basketball team, they've already spent more time in the national rankings this season than any other season in program history. Currently ranked 9th, but with 2 more wins that they got this past week, could they move up a spot or 2 in the rankings this week? Well, being nationally ranked is great. Getting back to the NCAA tournament, even better. But going dancing for a second straight year isn't the only goal for Lynn Roberts and her squad. They want to do one better and host the first 2 rounds at the Huntsman Center.
We've talked about that in the beginning of the season, that's been our goal to host. I think, there's nothing like playing, we experienced it last year. We went down to Texas and played in front of, 10,000 Longhorn fans, and it was hard. And it's such a home court advantage in those games. And so we would love to have that here and play in front of 10,000 fans here.
That'd be fun to see. So how do you get to that level where you can host the NCAA tournament? Do you have to play better basketball? Yes. Do you need to make a run in the conference tournament? Probably do. But Coach Roberts told us that getting that bid and setting things up for the program for big success in the future also depends on you, the fan.
The growing component of how we get there is, filling this place up, getting fans, making, because that matters in recruiting. It matters to players. It matters to me. If we can, I think Salt Lake City is a basketball town. Like, we're playing incredibly great basketball, and it's a fun team to watch. And again, they just love being here.
You have got to go check them out. They are fun to watch. The Red Rocks picked up a win Saturday against Washington. Jillian Hoffman, what a story. Back from multiple injuries, including an Achilles tear last season, a 9.95 on vault. This is Miley O'Keefe. She scored a 9.975 on beam, so close to a perfect 10. And the best highlight of the meet, Olympic silver medalist Grace McCallum with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 wolf turns. And, of course, she counted along with the crowd. There she goes. Yeah.
That was a new add-on. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else knew.
I think each week she plans on changing it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's super cool because coming from last year to this year, she's grown so much in her personality and just like owning who she is and having fun up there, especially coming from like the elite world, which you can attest is very just like straightforward, do gymnastics, and it's really fun seeing her like personality shine and really like, just owning who she is.
She is an incredible gymnast. We're hitting the home stretch in high school basketball, just a month away before the state tournaments tip off.
Yeah, which of course makes each of these games that much more important for positioning in region standings as well as potential playoff seeding.
Big games this week. The Titans were on the road. The Olympus Titans against the Murray Spartans Tuesday night, looking for their 17th straight win of the season. The Titans' Jordan Barnes goes behind the back to find Zach Albert for an easy lay-in. Murray's Chudi Anasike leads the state in scoring. 13 of the Spartans' 16 first-quarter points. He finished with a game-high 30. Another great pass by Barnes to Gavin Lowe under the basket. He's going to beat the buzzer. Barnes also had 25 points. Olympus would hold off Murray 67-59. The Titans continue to roll.
Great battle between Riverton and Bingham. This was a 2-point game with 2 minutes left. Riverton's Jackson Creekus makes it a 4-point lead. All right, so now we've got under a minute to play. Bingham down 3. KJ Jensen pulls up and knocks down the jumper. That cuts it to 1. Bingham missed a pair of free throws that would have given them the lead, but still had a shot at the buzzer. It's on the way, but off the rim. Riverton holds on. It's their 4th straight win, 48-47.
Important 3A game Wednesday in Region 15. Judge hosting Summit Academy. Summit Academy head coach Curtis Condi multitasking. Whatever it takes. The Bears would go on the road and get a big win. Big man, Sherlock Padmore, fights for 2 of his 16 points. He's fired up. Summit Academy's leading scorer, Bryson Otley, with a tough and 1. He led all scorers with 20. Summit Academy now 17-3. Judge gets a nice win over Juan Diego on Friday. Got to mention that.
Cypress was taking on West on Friday, and Quentin Mesa was the difference maker for Cypress. He finished, yeah, no kidding, 25 points and 4 3-pointers in this game against West. He's been outstanding all season. Cypress won the game 71-54. The Pirates are 7-0 in region play. They're 16-3 overall, 16 wins, tied for the most in Class 6A.
Ranked number 2 in 6A as well. How about that? A shout out to all our KSL Sports Live viewers in Star Valley and Evanston, Wyoming. The 2 rivals played Thursday in Afton. Star Valley guard Cooper Lancaster, a freshman, off the backboard to Jacob Hodges for the dunk. We got to see this again. The Braves would beat the Red Devils in this rivalry game 68-45.
Love it.
All right, more high school hoops ahead. Let's keep the dunks coming, shall we? It's all next. Hey, let's keep the high school hoops going. Region 1, 5th-ranked Fremont visiting Davis Tuesday. Traden Hogan living up to his first name. 5 of 5 from 3 to start the game. Could not miss. They forced turnovers out on the break. David Calvert hammers one home. Hogan was the story. 27 points on 8 of 10 shooting from 3. Scorching hot. Braden Flinders had a double-double. Fremont 7-0 in Region 1.
Tuesday, the number 1 ranked Corner Canyon Chargers continue to dominate. Jackson Roberts getting out in front of the pack and rising up for 2 of his 20 points. Max Toombs, he could not miss. 28 points for him in this game. Friendly bounce there. He was also breaking ankle. Oh, my goodness. Don't get up. 4 threes, 7 rebounds. They're 5-0 in Region 4. They also have 16 wins in Class 6A.
Call an ambulance. Someone's missing their ankles. A West Jordan rivalry game. Copper Hills hosting the West Jordan Jaguars. The steal, the break, the finish. Josh Pomerening pummeling the rim. Another Grizzly dunk. Great pass by Isaiah Reiser to set up Kyson Hymas for a rim rocker. The Grizzlies win, and they are in 2nd place in Region 3 behind Riverton. Look forward to the rematch in that region. Another full schedule of high school hoops coming up this week. We look forward to that. We don't have the NFL next Sunday.
It's so sad. Well, there's the Pro Bowl. There is the Pro Bowl. We'll find something from it.
What is the Pro Bowl anymore? I know they're doing something, but I'm not sure what it is.
Well, Fred Warner might be in it now.
Maybe,
Right?
unfortunately.
Yeah.
We got to find something to do Sunday, but we promise we will.
Yes.
It just won't be NFL action, which is a bummer. But the Super Bowl's coming up soon. All right, download the new KSL Sports app. It's really not that new, but you should download it anyway.
It's worth it. Quality content in the palm of your hand.